What's up, guys? War here. Welcome back to the channel. So we got the Lions jersey on. We got Barry on because we got the Lions game on currently, but we are still live with PoE, and we are making basically a stat stacking mercenary, and we're doing a leveling guide for the mercenary right now, and we are going to showcase the build just a little bit. This is Gas Grenade that we're actually playing through. I just got back to the shores because I just completed the first 3 acts. So I wanted to go over everything that I have for the build and just kind of show you what I did to get through this, and just kind of highlight some of the things that'll make your leveling experience super, super easy with the mercenary or any other character for that matter. But we came through and we're going to go through this, and I want to just showcase the build. Gas Grenade is really, really strong. Gas Grenade is very, very strong, especially in the campaign. It starts to taper off a little bit towards the end game, but there still is a viable build that you could do for it, I believe. I think Gas Grenade is just super, super strong, and when we pair it with the Radiant Grief Legendary Helmet, it just makes everything insane. So, well, not even insane. It makes everything really, really easy. So let's go ahead and go over the gear and just everything that I have here as I'm leveling up this mercenary and go over this. So we have a crossbow. The Bombard crossbow is the biggest thing that you need here. The reason we want this is because grenade skills fire an additional projectile. So when we fire, we have 5 shots because we do have an additional we have scatter shot on the actual skill. So, but Bombard gives us an additional projectile. However, while you're leveling through the game, you cannot get this until you're level 36, maybe 32, I think is the earliest that you can actually get. I could be wrong on that, but I think 36 is the lowest you can actually get a Bombard crossbow. But as soon as you can get this, I'll have this detailed down in the planner. Get this. Until then, you could use whatever crossbow that you guys want. They can give you the highest amount of damage that you can get. So the main things that you're looking for on here is just % increase to physical damage as well as physical damage. And then get attack speed if you can. It'll make the build feel a lot smoother. I don't have attack speed, so it feels really slow when I'm shooting, but that's okay. We also want the attack speed to combat some of the nodes that we take in the passive tree. So the crossbow is the biggest piece of gear that you want, and then the next biggest piece of gear is the Radiant Grief. Okay? The Radiant Grief is fantastic because it says enemies in your presence are ignited as though dealt 100 base fire damage. So in your presence is about 8 meters, or excuse me, 6 meters. You can increase this, but 6 meters is actually pretty decent in PoE 2, and then you ignite them, which is really great. Now, what's the reason for igniting is because on Gas Grenade itself, we have an explosion radius, so you do have like a cooldown timer here. It's a little bit delayed, but if they're ignited and we run up next to them and fire the gas grenades, they'll explode instantly, which makes the leveling version of this build very, very strong. So Radiant Grief Lace Hood is really, really nice for this build. If I go over to here to Path of Trading, you can get, this is as of today, the 30th, excuse me. They go for an Exalt. Okay, they go for an Exalt. You can get whatever stats that you want. Doesn't matter because you're leveling, so these big stats aren't really going to matter. Maybe you focus on the fire res, but one Exalt should be relatively easy to get. No big deal there. But as soon as you can get this helmet, use it. You can start using it at level 16, and it'll make the combination of this with gas grenades just feel really smooth. As far as the rest of the gear pieces, try to get attack speed on your gloves if you can. I don't have any. But get attack speed, that'll help the build feel really good. Otherwise, go for resistances as well as adds damage to attack, mainly fizz damage like we have in our rings here, which will make things feel a lot better and you'll do more damage. For boots, as you're in the leveling and going through the campaign, try to get as the highest amount of move speed you can so you can just kind of fly around the map. Belt, doesn't matter. Again, with resistances, I have this rawhide belt for stat stacking. I'm going to be using this probably later when I go to switch to Pillar of the Cage Gods. But until then, anything that will work that you find is great. Same thing with our chest piece. Just try to get some increased bonus stats there and everything. I actually have this from one of my other builds just to kind of slot in. Same thing with the amulet. You're just looking for just basic stats that you can add on, more damage. This amulet actually doesn't do a whole lot. The only reason I have it is because of all the dexterity increase, because I don't have a better amulet. So that's the gear, guys. The bow is the most important, and then get the Radiant Grief Hood. Now, let's go over the skills and what we have here. So we have Gas Grenade. You cannot get Gas Grenade early, okay? I think you get Gas Grenade at level 5 or 6. But as soon as you can get it, it may be a little bit higher, but as soon as you can get it, go ahead and take it. Until then, what you're going to do is do the frost skill. So if I come over here, let me see, where's gas grenade? So level 12 is when you're going to get gas grenade. But until then, what you're going to do is you're going to do a combination of permafrost bolts as well as explosive grenade. These are by far your best two. You could do fragmentation rounds for the shotgun. If you combine fragmentation rounds along with permafrost bolts, it's really good. So basically what you do is you freeze with permafrost bolts, then you switch to the fragmentation rounds and you shotgun them and it causes them to explode. It's a really nice combo until you can get to 12. However, what I did was I got a bow and I just used lightning arrow until I got to 12. If you just use a bow with lightning arrow until you get to 12, it just makes things super, super easy. I would just go lightning arrow until you hit 12 and then come back to your crossbow and just get 12 and get gas grenade. That's what I did. It just made it so much easier because having to reload every single time is a real pain until you get gas grenade. Because gas grenade, you end up getting multiple shots and it just feels really good. Now, on the skill itself, I do have scatter shot as for more projectiles, so we get 2 more, so that gives us 5 total. We have primal for more damage, and then our last one is fire pen. Now, if you do not have any lesser jeweler orbs, that's okay. All you're going to do is just remove the fire pen and keep primal on, and the build is just fine. That's the one that you're going to swap out. So that way you're just running scatter and primal for the most amount of damage, and you're good to go. If you have a jeweler's, go ahead and add this on. It'll give you the 3rd skill. If you want to swap these around, you can for the fire pen, but more damage is just better. Herald of Ash is also what we have here. We want Herald of Ash. I need to take Herald of Thunder off. We want Herald of Ash on here. I don't know why that was on there. We want Herald of Ash because it ignites and gives us a bigger ignite duration as well as overkill damage. And then cannibalism will really help you guys stay alive. You gain 4% of life recovered on a kill while this is active. Makes survivability really, really easy. You get Herald of Ash at level 4 Spirit Gem, which is in Act 1. So you should get this really, really quick. Should not be a problem. And then you want Cannibalism, which just adds some more strength. Next, the only other thing that I'm running is Explosive Shot. Explosive Shot, I'm running with enemies ignited, have a 60% chance to explode on death with Fiery Death, as well as Fire Infusion for just more damage. Now, what's great about Explosive Shot is you just load the shot. When you fire gas grenade, you shoot it, and it'll cause them to auto-explode. So if you fire out a bunch of gas grenades on a boss or something, instead of waiting them for a round for them to start triggering, you can just fire an Explosive Shot, and it'll detonate all of them. I don't really use this a whole lot because the gas grenades, as you're in close proximity with your helmet, just causes them to explode, so you don't really have to use it. But a boss is really good for you. Fire a bunch, and then you just shoot this off, and it causes a big explosion and adds some more damage, which is really, really nice. I haven't added any more skills yet. I had some skills set up for when I go ahead and make the swap. But you can use your regular crossbow shot if you want, as well as you're going through the campaign. That feels really good. But these skills is all I needed all the way through the axe. It does a crazy amount of damage. You can see Explosive Shot does a crap ton. Gas Grenade on the sheet is low, but believe me when I tell you, you absolutely destroy stuff. So let's go over to the passive tree, guys, and I'll show you a little demonstration. We are doing a Gemling Legionnaire. Gemling Legionnaire doesn't really help us too much on this build for Gas Grenade. The 30% less cost of skills is fine. I'm just kind of gearing up on my Ascendancy for when I make the transition, because you don't really need this. If you do want to go Witch Hunter, I can provide that information for you, but right now just having increased stats is really nice. The additional supporting gem slots is what we're eventually going to be going for into gem studded, but you don't really need any of your Ascendancy as you're going through the campaign for this build in particular. Now, the tree is going to go as follows. You're just going to follow this path all the way down for more projectile damage. You can, if you choose, want to come back and grab these 3 attack speed nodes. It will make the build feel a lot better if you want to and kind of just pull away from here. It's totally up to you. But you come down, you're going to grab Remorseless first. Then you can come down, you're going to grab Ricochet next. You can grab this later for the AoE. You do not have to take these. Like, you could swap these 2 into attack speed, which would be fine. Then you're going to come down here first, and then you're going to come grab Colossal Weapon as well as Overwhelm. These nodes are going to give you a lot of increased damage with two-handed weapons, as well as increased area of effect, which just means that our gas grenades explode in a bigger AoE, which is really nice. And the stun buildup is pretty cool. We can stun enemies, bosses, elites, and it just makes us being able to target them even better. Then you can come over here if you want. Get finishing blows later. We're eventually going to come up to Stars Align for the lucky hits against enemies, but I'm getting this part last. What I decided to do was come down here, and you want to grab all of these nodes as fast as you can. Cluster Bombs gives us increased fuse duration, and we get another projectile. So we get one initially, we get one from Cluster Bombs, we get one from our weapon, and then we get two from Scatter Shot, which gives us 5 total. Then we got Grenader for increased cooldown use, which is another reason why we're able to fire just so many on the cooldown. Then we come down here, and I grab instant reload for reload speed, which just makes this really good. Then we're eventually going to come down, and we're going to come grab Sand in the Eyes for attack speed, as well as repeating explosives for the off chance that we get a section explosion. This is really, we really hope that we hit this on bosses, which is really nice. Then I'm coming back up here, and I'm grabbing the finishing blows against enemies that are on low life. It just is increased stun damage and more damage against enemies on low life. This is really for just more clearing. However, when you grab Stars Align, the lucky hit, the lucky part is basically the damage is rolled twice and you get the better result. So like if the grenade explodes and it's like it does 10 damage and another one does 12, you'll get the 12 damage instead of 10. That's the most basic way that I can explain how lucky works in the game. Just fact check me if I'm wrong on how that works, but I'm pretty sure that's how it goes. I thought about coming down here and grabbing movement speeds just so you can move as you kill, but that's optional. So this is the tree, guys. This takes you all the way up to 42 with all of your extra additional points from getting all your passives through the campaign. But as you can see, I am now going into Act 3 Cruel, and I'm going to go ahead and kind of show this build off just a little bit. It works well for bosses. It works great for anything that you guys really, really need. You could actually just swap this and load, swap this to explosive, and then like change your basic shot so you have it. You know what I mean? While this load explosive shot is there, it'll always be on explosive shot. But this is all you're going to do. You're just going to run around and throw grenades and just let stuff explode. And that's it, man. You're just going to let stuff... I kind of want to go through and show you the little first boss because the build is really just fun. One trick that I will say with using gas grenade is if you try to fire it like out, you'll shoot far. But if you kind of shoot it at your feet, it'll be a little bit closer, as you can see there, which can be nice. So if you're kind of leading up and you can see the monsters, you can fire it out if you want. But aiming it at your feet makes it pretty cool. Artificer Ore, very nice. If you're just kind of trying to move through like areas really quickly, you can just shoot it at your feet, and it doesn't go as far. See how like... It doesn't go as far. Just keep in mind you're really close to a lot of enemies, or you can fire them out, right? You can use your range and just blow stuff up. Just keep in mind that if you are firing out super far, you're not going to get the ignite, so just make sure you keep that in mind when you're doing this. But as you can see, for most mobs, even the lower tier mobs, it's perfectly fine. I think this is going to be really cool for bossing, or excuse me, mapping. I think this is going to be a really fun build for mapping. If you get a lot of the like increased speed nodes and a lot of like increased attack speed nodes just to make the build feel a little more fluid. But man, I can tell you going through the campaign, this was really, really nice. Now let's go ahead and do this very first boss because this is a cool fight against the Bloated Miller. I think he's funny. Like he's kind of a big, just a big dummy, but oh my gosh. Okay, where did you come from? Now, the thing you got to be careful of is maintaining that cooldown. Okay, you got to watch that cooldown and see how he moves. If we can get this stun on him, he's probably really good on his stun. And if you run out of your timer here when you're using these, like on a boss or something, just give it a second. You could just use your explosive shot or your basic bolts. Like I can use basic bolts or my thing. And I mean, it's fine, obviously, but like. You want to use explosive bolt just to kind of trigger stuff. And again, the gas grenades are they just feel really, really good. Very good for bossing. Ooh, straw sandals. Look at that. And yeah, guys, this is the leveling build that I have for the mercenary and just kind of going through. I know there's some people who don't really like that. It requires a unique. You can use this build without the Radiant Grief, I will say. It just feels so much better with the Radiant Grief helmet. So if you guys want to spend the 1 exalt to get it, then by all means go ahead. It definitely will feel really, really good. So yeah, guys, this is what I have for the Mercenary Gas Grenade leveling build. So like the video, guys. Comment down below. Let me know if you guys have any questions about the build. I'll be happy to answer it. I'm going to be bringing update guides as I progress through the cruel mode into maps. So be on the lookout for those videos. And yeah, comment down, like, guys. That really helps with the algorithm. Don't forget to subscribe if you're new. And as always, stay gaming, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.